6 property and casualty companies that offered homeowners insurance in Florida liquidated. 4 more are in the liquidation process in 2022. So homeowners insurance is going up in Florida. All of these companies are dropping out because they can't make money in Florida and they're leaving voluntarily, or they have to liquidate and get out of Florida. So we're gonna hop on the phone with Taylor Young with Urban Young Insurance and kind of talk to him about, what's going on, get to the bottom of this, and hopefully give you guys some insights too if you're considering moving to Florida. Slice it together nicely, so.
Right. No, I'm Taylor Young with Urban Young. So we're an independent agency here, local in Florida, a couple different markets, and help people buy and close on homes, and usually that's how we're introduced to the process. But we do all lines of property and casualty, and some life insurance stuff. But we really specialize in helping, realtors and mortgage professionals get to closing.
So obviously, and we did a little bit of research, but it looks like maybe starting in 2017, a bunch of companies started kind of dropping out of Florida that were providing insurance, and then it seems like maybe the cost was going up in Florida. Can you speak as to why that was kind of happening?
Yeah, there's a couple different factors. Let me just preface by saying Florida is a mess. So, I think it's the number one issue now when people get to closing. I mean, the insurance, if you're not from here, there's sticker shock. If you are from here, the way that you were able to get it done 10 years ago, 5 years ago, is not the way you're able to get it done this year or last year. There's a couple different factors, but the main reason has to do is just the environment is very hard for a property insurance carrier or a homeowner's insurance carrier to be profitable and actually make money. Yes, you do want insurance companies to make money, because what happens if they don't make money, there's no incentive. And we're seeing that right now as the environment is set up in a way that they're losing money. So what they do, they pull out of the state, they go out of business. So you have less companies, you have increased pricing, due to companies being able to charge a certain amount. How companies get to how much they charge is how much they charge versus how much they pay out in claims, right? That's as simple as it is. And if the number for how much they pay out in claims is greater than what they charge from a macro standpoint, well, now you have an underwriting loss, and that becomes an issue with profitability. So that's what drives rates. And so now they got to file with the state of Florida and increase rates. And what happened, you mentioned in 2017, we had a bang, 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 big storm. I think it was like Hurricane, what we have, Matthew, we had Michael, there's another one, I think Dorian threatened. I mean, there was like 3 major storms in 3 years, I think, something like that. And so these reinsurance companies, which all reinsurance means, it's the insurance that the insurance companies buy. Right, so it's big conglomerates that offer to charge a certain amount to pass on the risk for catastrophic losses. Hurricanes are considered catastrophic losses. And just like you and I have deductibles on our homeowners insurance, these insurance companies have deductibles on their reinsurance programs, right? So what happened is, because of those storms, bang, 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 now reinsurance rates, what they're charging the insurance companies, used to be relatively low. But now they went way up. I mean, I'm talking 100%, 200%. And so you have insurance companies that already have thin margins, and now they have an expense, their biggest expense, go through the roof. So it even thins the margin even more. That's number one. You have less options, premiums going up. Another reasons that premiums are going up, and I think this is the elephant in the room in Tallahassee with changes that are looking to be made, is it's the litigation. I think there was a stat that jumped off the page. It's insane, right? So look at us as an entire country. 8% of all property claims happen in the state of Florida for the United States.
Wow.
So you look at that and, okay, that's pretty proportionate. Florida's a big state. There's a lot of, you go 8%, that makes sense. But I think it's almost 80% of the property damage litigation happens in the state of Florida for the entire country.
That's insane.
Significant imbalance, and that's causing rates to go up because these attorneys will, maybe file suits where they don't need to be filed. There's certainly a space in the market. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, I work with insurance companies every day. I know sometimes you can go through claims and they don't always do the right thing. But when there's a lawsuit on 80%, that's a lot. So these companies go, well, instead of fighting it, I'll just settle because it costs me less money. And now a $10,000 claim turns into a $100,000 claim. And that happens across thousands of policyholders. And you're left with years of that compounding with an environment that no insurance company wants to really do business here, which limits the options for homeowners, which again drives rates.
The other thing that I heard too, or kind of briefly read over, was maybe even the time frame in which you could make a claim was a lot longer in Florida. Is that true? And it was making it so there's a lot of fraudulent claims happening?
Yeah, it's ever changing. I think they did shorten it, but yeah, it just has to do with obviously, a hurricane coming through, and then 2 years later they open a claim about that hurricane that was 2 years ago, which is very common.
Yeah.
That sort of fraud, for lack of a better term, happens a lot on roofs. Roofs are a big sticking point, and in your research you probably saw that. And I'll kind of give you a glimpse in the cliff notes of what that fight's about. So what happens is a roof ages, it gets to 15, 20 years old as a shingle roof, and that homeowner is getting approached by a roofer, or maybe their neighbor just replaced their roof. A hailstorm comes in the area, whatever it may count, and they have an opportunity to get a free roof. When in reality, that roof probably needed to be replaced for other reasons. It's just looking to file a claim that would line up to get a free roof.
Right.
And, we had major storms in 2004 and 2005, and a lot of those roofs that got replaced during that time are now coming to age. So you have like a massive amount of roofs that are getting put on. And so that's a factor that obviously drives rates. And so these insurance companies are really fighting in Tallahassee to get the policy forms to be able to be on a roof actual cash value schedule. A 15-year-old roof, the amount the insurance company would pay out to replace it would be less than a 5-year-old roof.
Yeah.
For certain types of risks. And I think, like non-catastrophic risks are what they're talking about. So that's a little of the debate, also drives pricing.
Well, maybe to flip the coin on you then, are you guys solely in Florida, or are you in other states?
Just Florida. On personal lines, we have some commercial accounts on the other side of our business in other states, but yeah, just Florida.
Okay, so why are you here?
In Florida, man, I love Florida. Love the sunshine, love the freedoms, love the tax efficiencies. No, I grew up as a Floridian, man. It's just one of those things. Getting in the insurance business, when people are moving out of state, I always just say, hey, this is a part of the deal, right? There's no state income tax, but you do have the insurance factor, you do have the insurance risk. And it's just been always something that I baked into conversations, even well before, this Florida crisis. But, I can't imagine living anywhere else, quite honestly.
Well, and the thing is, it really is what it is. What we try to tell people, Taylor, is what it is. Let's just say a $300,000 house, not in a flood zone, because I know that throws on, and maybe you can even touch real quick on hurricane insurance, if you can even get it in Florida, or a flood zone, but just a nice house, gated community. I don't know if that makes a difference in rates.
It's going to depend on construction year. That's a huge deal. So you mentioned gated. The biggest thing for buyers out there, or sellers, whatever it may be, the construction year is everyone still wants the new construction, right? If it's been built in the last couple of years, even the last 5, you have a pretty wide array of companies that still want your business and price competitively. It's once it starts to age a little bit, now that's where the pricing has gone through the roof. And also where the limitations come from. So if it's, a new construction community, most of those are gated, that kind of thing. The pricing's not going to jump off the page. I think you're going to be around $1,200 a year. As it ages, that'll increase significantly. Say a house is 30, 40 years old, roof age is going to matter a lot. Is that a brand new roof? Is it less than 5 years? That's going to, have to do with a lot of companies. And then also the elephant in the room with pricing is there's something called Citizens in the state of Florida, which is essentially the state fund. When I first got into business, we would never write policies with Citizens. We didn't have to. Well, now Citizens is becoming one of the top carriers for all agents that write personal lines in the state of Florida, just because it's the only place to place somebody with a 10, 12-year-old, 13-year-old shingle roof. But that pricing is also much less than the market. So you are getting kind of the DMV of insurance and Citizens in Florida, but is priced well below what the other markets demand. So sometimes the pricing can be skewed. If you end up with Citizens in the short term, it actually may be less expensive than it would be if you were in the free market, which also is an issue for another time.
We do really try to let people know what it is and then put them with folks like yourself that can speak to what they're looking at. But it's just about knowing it. Information's king.
There's also, you can absolutely, hurricanes on every policy. It's a package policy. It just operates at a different deductible. Hurricanes, as much as it's raised the reinsurance costs that I referenced, the big issue is the litigation. So until the litigation gets hammered out, nothing's going to change. Prices will continue to go up. It gets better, it gets worse on our end, and it's not all doom and gloom. Like, it will correct itself. Every market's cyclical. We're in what's called a hard market in our business. It will come back the other way. There are companies that are starting fresh without all the baggage of the last couple of years or the last decade that are coming in and they want to write business. They have the capacity to write business. And the better the environment, the more of those companies that will come in, and then that pricing should stable out. Expectation-wise, I think rates will continue to trend upwards for the next year. Maybe not crazy, but I think rates will continue to push up. And then I think as you get more companies coming into the marketplace, I think they'll stabilize. But Florida's never really been a place where it's been inexpensive compared to the rest of, the country to buy insurance. It's consistently, since I've been in the business, been in one of the most expensive on the home and auto side, and mainly because of the litigation, right? But people are still moving here. People still want to live here. So it is one of those things I think you guys are wise to educate, because if I'm moving into Florida, that's just one of the factors I'm considering, but it's certainly not going to deter me to stay up in the cold. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, but they also have different property taxes. Everybody has to put in all of their math because there is a lot of benefits to Florida. So is there legislation on the docket that we should let people know, look, if this comes up, this is what you should do?
The big ones, the attorney fee multipliers, I won't go down the rabbit hole too much on that. Say you needed to get a new roof, and they said, yeah, we'll cover the claim, we'll pay you $20,000 for that roof. Well, if you made the case and hired an attorney that, that claim is actually going to take $20,000 in $1, just $1 more than what they, suggested, then you were not only on the hook for that extra $1, but the attorney fees, and with a multiplier, meaning 2 or 3 times those attorney fees. Now, they've since kind of reduced of what it takes to get a multiplier, and they will be less likely, but still that one-way attorney fee continues to be, and it's there with good intentions. It's there to incentivize an attorney to take a case that, may not be a home run, but that customer deserves representation.
Oh, cool. This was super awesome, man. I mean, if there's anything else that you think you could add, but I feel like that cleared up the picture a ton. And we keep hearing about it, but I didn't really know why necessarily, or what was happening. So I think that was awesome. Do you have any?
I don't. That was awesome. And, it's just information is king. And then people will ask questions, which we can pass along to you guys for sure when we do this. But this is great for me as a broker, for my team to know. I'll share this with the whole team.
Everybody.
Yeah, and you know what? Thank you guys. Continue to use us as a resource, me as a resource. If there's ever a time that, I can help, I'm happy to. We kind of geek out over this stuff, and I know it's information that's a hot topic. One tip I would give to somebody, especially moving in the state or somebody who's buying insurance, and this has less to do with us, whether somebody buys insurance with us, but more to do with the marketplace. I would select an agent that can do all your lines of business, right? I would be an important customer there. So I would have your home, your auto, everything with, and your account needs to be treated accordingly. One of the biggest complaints we hear from people that are moving agencies, they just can't get a call back. They're just, they're so overwhelmed with the volatility of the market for all the reasons I mentioned, the rate increases and so on and so forth, that you got to be with a place that it used to be that you'd probably be able to have your auto insurance with Geico, your home with Joe Agency, and it just works fine. But now I would encourage people to see, whoever it is, find somebody that can do it all for you. Be an important customer to that person, And that's the way you can manage your rates over the next 2, 3, 4 years. That's what I think is important. That's what I think customers are looking for, is to say, help me navigate this over the next 2 to 4 years. If it's going to be 1 year that I'm going to receive a rate increase and it's going to hurt, that's fine. But just, are you looking out for me year 2 and 3 to make sure I can kind of minimize my overall cost? So just a little tip there for buyers.
I love
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. You're the man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure, and we'll definitely pass along your information. So
Cool, man.
appreciate
Thanks.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you guys watching. This is part of what's nice, because a lot of the buying process can be very, there's just a lot of nuances to it, and that's what's nice about having someone that knows what they're doing. Really appreciate Taylor going through all that. That was awesome. If you guys want to get connected with someone on the team, and hopefully I didn't scare you away from buying in Florida.
No, it's just
it's a little bit more
just people
expensive.
just need to know the math. That's all.
It is interesting that a lot of it had to do with the litigation.
Any other subjects that you want some information on? Let us know.
Yeah, throw us a line. Hey, email us hello@explore55plus.com. We appreciate that stuff.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys. If you guys want to get connected with someone, of course, visit www.explore55plus.com or give us a call, email us, and we look forward to chatting with you. Today's video is brought to you by Roby,
The #1 electric leaf blower in the nation. Get hot swappable batteries, charge one while you blow so you can continuously blow for a lifetime.
Don't encourage him.